Okay, today's video, do you take your family skiing? Okay, so if you're like, I would say most Americans, you may not be super familiar with skiing. I mean, it seems like, okay, this is a great winter sport. Many people live in places near mountains, near snow, winter. Seems like a great pastime. Well, Santa brought my kids sleds, snowboards. It's great. But the hill in our town seemed a little tame. So, what do my husband and I do? We say, okay, that's fine. We have a trip near a place with skiing. We're going to go for it. Now, if you're in our shoes, you maybe been skiing once, twice, live to tell the tale, don't remember much about it. But you said, yeah, how bad can it be? So, if you are not faint-hearted, willing to go for it, here's just a few tips that I think would be helpful to know before you take that family skiing adventure. 1, do a little research. So we have 5 children, 6th grade down to a toddler. And it would be helpful to know before you arrive what out of all the activities are available for your children. We did not do that. So we stood with a general idea. We did a little research. We didn't dive deep into it. But the thing is, this is not a cheap excursion. So if you're going to invest in this activity, and that's how it felt, perhaps because this is not something that we do regularly, you're going to invest in this activity, do your homework. Okay, so I didn't ask the range of children what they wanted to do. We discussed it a little bit, thought, we'll figure it out when we get there. Well, let me tell you, if you cannot even determine the kind of activity your child would yet enjoy to partake in, you may not be ready to go to this activity at all. Identify what they'd like to do. If they'd like a lesson, if it's worth the money. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad use of your dollars. I am simply saying it would be helpful to know ahead of time so that when you leave and look at the bill for your family, you feel like, yep, solid investment. Everyone's expectations were met. It was good. So in our case, my husband and our youngest daughter went sledding. That's kind of her speed. She's not real like an adventurous kid. Well, she saw her older siblings snowboarding. And therefore, there was a little bit of strife. So this normally pretty shy, reserved young lady, the inner wildcat got out. She had to try it. This led to some confusion, some gnashing of teeth. Particularly, we did not have lessons for her. And my husband and I have no idea how to snowboard. Some of our older children, braver, a little bit more agile, also took lessons. So just be prepared or have friends that ski. I don't know. We had a great help. It wasn't even that. It's just 2. So that's the 1. Do your homework. 2, which I kind of touched on. Ask your kid what they actually want to get out of this. So before I went, my anticipation was, or my intent was to get lessons for everyone because we're clueless. I knew we're clueless. I mean, if anyone saw us there, you'd also know that we were clueless. But again, aligning expectations. A couple of my kids are like, oh no, I don't want to spend time with lessons. And I think that that's true. There's just like the self-starters. They want to learn it themselves. They're willing to fall a few times, whatever. So set that up. You can save yourself a little bit of money. And also, I mean, if they're not very coachable or willing to listen, is it worth the money? Just a question. Okay, number 3. All right, this one I think would have also been super helpful. Look at the map. Look at the map. Where are the easiest sections? I mean, you could have pasted like Skiing for Dummies thing on my helmet, like part of Skiing for Dummies, like help on my forehead. I needed it, but I didn't have that label. So we did like one of the hardest runs. Why did we do that? I knew it wasn't Black Diamond, but what? If we would have spent more time investing in reading the map, could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of stress. Okay, number 4. I would also recommend that you have a very adventurous spirit, and also a high tolerance for stress. Because when you're going down a long or steep incline, you cannot control everyone else's speed. If you can control your own, fabulous. Again, we have a wide range of ages of children, and there were parts of our experience in which I had no idea where several of my children were at that moment. That is stressful, let alone the fact that they were, again, going at the steep incline. Again, slightly stressful. So I would recommend, before you start your excursion, how risk averse are you? How much do you trust your children, and their ability to be aware of the world around them? And this is not about anybody, staff, nothing. They're perfectly great. It's about no one else. Just you as a parent have to be like, okay, I cannot physically have eyes on all of them, and they literally can go in their own directions all at the same time, and you cannot control it. So you have to be willing to have the high stress. Example, number 4 and I, the new snowboarder, let's try this adventure. After much cajoling from my spouse and siblings, my children, her siblings, go up the hill, it'll be fine. She did great on the bunny hill, probably a national snowboarder, very, very good, amazing. And I'm like, crap, she's really good, especially for a little kid, 4-year-old, okay? All right, so we go up this hill, which I'm thinking, dear Lord, this is a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. Why are we doing this? I don't know. So we get to the top of the hill, and I think, okay, we can do this. She just has to start going her butt. Well, I want you to keep in mind that you can only help your child as much as you can help yourself. And let me tell you, I could barely help myself. So before you sign your child up, even if they're really enthusiastic, I would recommend getting proper aid and assistance to make sure that they're okay. She was fine. But my stress and worry for her, my stress and worry over trying to take care for this person that I could get myself down the hill, but just barely. And then navigating something I am completely unfamiliar with, i.e. snowboarding in this case. I can tell you how to stop, but I can't control when people whiz by. And if you get going too fast, which she's apt to do, I can't stop it. So make sure you have appropriate amount of help, or be like, look, we can't do that. We're not ready. So just set the expectations. We all lived. No one was injured. It was good. I think they all had a good experience. But my expectation, this great family experience. And then the reality, afterwards, get in the car. Get in the car. We're all still alive. We're all conscious. Get in the car and leave right now before it goes even more sideways. So just a little trip, great time, very memorable. I'm sure it will live on in the pantheon of great wacky walker ideas for years to come, but get it together. Unlike us, don't do that. Follow the tips. They're helpful. And I'm sure most of you would know this, but if you're like me and you're that'll be fine, could have used a little bit more thought. That's all I'm saying. Good luck.